Yo, what's going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Perceiver pistol and how this gun can absolutely shred if you know how it works. Now, a person in my Discord, H2O, sent me some clips asking me why his Perceiver pistol was doing so much damage sometimes, and basically just asking me to test out the damage and tell him what's going on. So I did test it, and now I'm here to share the results with all of you guys as well. I'll also tell you where to get this pistol and which firing mode to use and all that good stuff. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. Alrighty, so basically here we have the Perceiver pistol. This is a legendary pistol in the game that is pretty freaking cool. Now, where you're gonna get this pistol is, I'm just gonna tell you, it's gonna be from the obelisk in Sunfang Oasis. It drops from, I believe the enemy is named Oculus, and the Oculus Obelisk is somewhere in this area over here. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about this pistol and talk about the legendary special effect of this pistol. And basically, we're just gonna start showing you guys the damage testing. So let's go ahead and pull out the calculator and the notepad. Now, what's awesome about this pistol is that you're gonna see, as you're shooting it, we see 927, 927, 927, 2062. And where does this 2062 come from? And basically the legendary effect of this pistol is that it can randomly apply all of your crit bonuses. And I'll show you guys that in 1 second, because 2062, remember that number, that was a non-crit. And if I just crit, we get 2062. So basically what this gun does is it randomly applies all of your crit bonuses to the weapon itself. And what's awesome is if we are shooting a crit, 4585. So you can see that it's gonna double up our crit bonuses. And let me go ahead and just show you the math behind all of this so that I can prove what I'm saying. So basically, I wrote our crit formula at the top of the notepad. The base crit of any weapon is about 1.5 times your weapon, and that's where we're gonna get the damage from, and I'll show you that in 1 second. Now you can see that our Perceiver has 21% critical hit damage on the card, and then on top of that, you know, we do have some strength without any skill points spent, and you can see we get 22.5% crit damage from strength. So our basic crit formula for the Perceiver is gonna be 1.5 for base crit for any item. Multiply this by the 21% crit damage on the card, and multiply this by the 22.5% hero point crit damage, and that's gonna give us an average crit multiplier of 2.223375. And then we went ahead and recorded the numbers. So you see we have 927 as our normal hit and 2062 crit damage. So all we're gonna do is take our crit multiplier and multiply that by 927 because that's our normal crit. And that's where we get that 2061, which the game is obviously rounding up or rounding down always. So that's where we get that 2062 damage from. Now let's go ahead and just apply our crit bonus again. So we're gonna multiply this by another 2.223375, and bear with me because the game likes to round up or round down. This gives us 4582, but obviously, you know, some of our damage was rounding up or down because we got 4585. So you can basically see that this is double dipping crit. Now let me go ahead and prove to you guys that we can actually double dip all of our crit bonuses. And let's go ahead and just get 47.5% crit damage in strength. So let's go ahead and confirm that. And now let's just do our damage testing again. So you can see we get 927 because we're not critting. 927, 2483. So now we have a new crit formula. Let me actually test that, or let me actually type that out for you. So we have a new crit formula because we have our hero points, which is gonna be 1.475 crit damage from our hero points now. And that gives us a new crit formula of 2.677125. You can see we recorded the 2483. And now let's go ahead and actually crit with this weapon and get the special effect to trigger. And let's see what number we get. Sometimes it can take a second, because I will say that this special effect randomly triggers And that's, okay, 6647. I was about to say that's why I actually think the burst fire mode is actually a little bit better. Anyways, so now that we have 47.5 crit damage in our hero points, you can see that our crit multiplier went up a little bit. And let's just go ahead and show you guys the math on that, just to prove what I'm saying. So we had 927 normal hit, we had 2483 when it triggered 1 crit, and then we get 6647 on the double crit. So let's just go ahead and see if the math checks out. 927 times our new crit modifier, which is 2.677125, and that gives us 2481.6, but obviously the game must be rounding up or down somewhere because we got 2483. And now let's multiply that by our crit bonus again, which is higher. It's 2.677125. And you can see that gives us 6643. Now, obviously, like I said, we didn't round up properly in the last one, so it's a little bit more off in this test. But you can see it's clearly double dipping that new damage bonus. And it's proven right here in the test results, because when we upped our hero point crit damage even more, we go from 4585 all the way up to 6647. So that's pretty cool. Alrighty, now real quick, I want to talk about which firing mode to use with this gun, and also something really interesting I found with crit chance. I maxed out bullseye and I maxed out dexterity, and I did 2 sets of tests, obviously one without dexterity and without bullseye, and then 1 test with each. In my first test, you can see we shot the clip of the semi-auto. We basically just shot 1 full clip, and we did it 15 clips in both tests. And in our first test, you can see there were a lot of 0 triggers and there were a lot of 2 triggers, from about 0 to 2 triggers per clip with 0 crit chance skills. And then in our second set of testing, I maxed out bullseye and I maxed out dexterity, and you can see it went up from about 1 to 3 triggers per clip. So another awesome thing about this gun, if you increase your crit chance, it seems that the special effect of the gun will trigger more often. Now, when it comes to which firing mode you want to use, basically you can tell 3-shot burst does 477 per shot, and semi-auto does 927 per shot. Now, the thing about semi-auto is it consumes 3 bullets. So we are trading 3 bullets for only double the damage. So I actually do think burst is better, because burst, number 1, it'll give you more chances to trigger this. And then number 2, it's just less ammo per damage. So in theory, I think burst is a little bit better for this gun. Now, as a bonus, let's go ahead and do some From the Shadows testing. Because From the Shadows will obviously always give us a critical hit. And From the Shadows, so here, let's get our crit formula here. And From the Shadows has that crit penalty. You know how it says it does minus 25% crit damage, but is this gonna double dip the penalty? Let's go ahead and find out. All right, so let's go into From the Shadows. You can see we do 1862, and let's wait till we get a trigger. There it is, 49 something, 4980. 4985. Okay, so you can see we have an 1862 on crit trigger, and then we get 4985 on double crit. And this is while we're in From the Shadows. Our base damage was what, 977? Or was it 927? 927, sorry. So let's go ahead and do all this math and see what's happening. So we take 927, we're gonna multiply this by our crit bonus, which is 2.677125, and then we get the From the Shadows penalty, which is a 25% penalty. So I'm just gonna multiply this by 0.75 because that's a 25% penalty. And you can see we get 1861.2, but we hit for 1862. Obviously the game is rounding up or rounding down. But that math checks out with From the Shadows, because then we multiply this by 0.75, like I said. And then let's go ahead and take this 1862 and multiply that by our crit bonus again, just to see if we're just purely double dipping. And you can see we get 4982, which this is 49.85. So obviously, you know, the game rounded up or rounded down a little bit, but we are double dipping our crit bonus, and we're not double dipping the From the Shadows penalty. So there are probably some really cool Stabbo From the Shadows setups, and I will work on a build using this Perceiver pistol as the one trick gun. Obviously, you know, it'll probably work with other guns in the build because From the Shadows is very strong, but you can see we're not double dipping the penalty because sometimes you do actually double dip penalties in this game, but From the Shadows penalty is not one of them, and that is pretty awesome. So that is the Perceiver pistol, and that's how you're gonna double dip crit bonuses on this pistol, which is a very, very cool legendary effect. And if you have a crit build where you're stacking crit damage, you can probably get a lot out of this gun. As you saw from the clips at the beginning of this video, his build probably isn't even optimized to do the most crit damage possible. And you saw some of those boss melts that H2O was getting. So if you guys like this video, please drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel for more Wonderlands videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.